In yet another twist, Labour Party member Lamidi Apapa has again declared himself as the acting national chairman of the party. Addressing journalists here in Abuja, Apapa says with the ouster of Julius Abure, the task of running the party directly falls on his shoulders as the most senior deputy national chairman. He also declared Umar Farouk national secretary of the party. He said the National Working Committee of the party will meet on Monday, that's April 14, to unveil his leadership plans.
Decision of the Supreme Court on setting aside all judgments that recognizes the leadership of Julius Abure as national chairman. I, Alhaji Bashiru Lamidi Apapa, who is the most senior deputy national chairman of our great party, and in consonance with our party constitution's Article 14(2)(a), B, hereby takes over the running of affairs of our great party with effect from today, Wednesday, the 9th day of April 2025, in acting a capacity, and Alhaji Farouk Umar Ibrahim as National Secretary. My leadership hereby call on all members of our party, the National Working Committee of our great party, as our 2022, we meet next week, inshallah, 14th of April 2025, to announce our plans, which will include zoning the position of national chairman of the party to the north and national secretary to the south.
Well, joining me now are representatives from both factions of the Labour Party. Oghene is the Labour Party caucus leader at the House of Representatives, and CK Igara is the national vice chairman of the Labour Party. Let me start with, of course, Mr. Oghene here in the studio with me. Let's begin with this latest development, where Lamidi Apapa has declared himself the chairman of the party, acting national chairman of the party.
Well, beyond the fact that it is laughable, it is also, giving vent to the statement that victory has many fathers, success has many fathers. One would wonder where Alhaji Lamidi Apapa was after the fiasco that attended the Presidential Election Petitions Tribunal. He disappeared from the radar. And at some point, the supporters and himself declared that they were in support of Barrister Julius Abure. It's a good thing coming from him to acknowledge that Abure has been swept out by the highest court in the land. But the question that should immediately follow is, what tenure is Lamidi Apapa talking about?
Right.
Even
is it
by
taking over from Julius Abure?
Is it Julius Abure's tenure that he seeks to finish? Does he have a subsisting tenure? Who told him that if Julius Abure's tenure had lapsed, even by the mere effusion of time, where is he deriving the powers to come and say he's the most senior?
Well, you are in the best position to, or in a good position to answer those questions.
And I'm just raising the posers to him.
Right.
Because I just learned about his press conference.
The latest development.
Yes, here. But it shows that there's something about the Labour Party and having people flock around. But I tell you that the natural leader of the party as it is today, Mr. P2B, not my
When you
word.
say natural leader,
Yes.
in what sense exactly?
That
because
was what I wanted.
You just took it out of my mouth, because I'm just going to ask you. I mean, both factions are laying claims to the leadership of the Labour Party. Who exactly is the authentic leadership?
No, I've heard you
Which
use
one?
the word faction. I want to say with due respect that The Labour Party does not
It's
have
not
factions.
factionalized.
It's not factionalized.
What
constitutes
how do you describe
factions?
what is going on now?
What constitutes factions are 2 or more sets of officials, 2 or more national headquarters of the party. That is not the situation we are in. The issue,
But there's a contest for the leadership of the party, and
which has been laid
So
to
many-
rest by the highest court in the land.
in spite of that, you still have the situation
No,
where
that somebody.
different sides are still laying claims to the position of the leadership
So
of the
if-
party, which
so-
means even the court has not been able to resolve it.
No,
as far as the Supreme Court.
that would be unfair to the Supreme Court. And I'm not here to sit in judgment over the highest court in the land. All the court stated clearly that Abure's tenure is over. And if Abure's tenure is over, who was the appellant in that case?
Is it part
Yes.
of the certified true copy?
I
that
have
you
this.
all have
I
been
have
banding
this
around?
certified true copy,
Which
which
article,
you
which
submitted.
aspect of it
If you
says
permit
that
me,
clearly?
if you permit me to read page 47. The 3 issues submitted for determination are hereby jointly resolved in favor of the appellants. The appellants here, Senator Esther Nenadi Usman, Labour Party National Caretaker Committee Chairman, Honorable Darlington Wokocha.
Does it expressly say that Julius Abure's tenure has expired?
I was going to read
Okay,
that
great.
for
That's
you.
what I want to hear.
In summary, both the trial court and the court below had no jurisdiction to entertain the suit. You know, as they both rightly observed, was inserted as relief number 5, as though it was an appendage. Consequent upon the foregoing, the decisions of both trial court and the court below, recognizing Barrister Julius Abure as national chairman of the first respondent, Labour Party, are hereby set aside, and suit number is hereby struck out for want of jurisdiction. So if the plan upon which
So the
Abure
question
stands,
there is
yes.
that of jurisdiction of the courts, and not necessarily declaring that Julius Abure is not the national chairman, or that his tenure has expired. I'm still waiting to hear that. You didn't read that out to me.
You will have to go back to the very beginning.
Okay, and
How
we
did
don't,
this-
unfortunately,
and
we don't
you
have all
don't
night.
have You don't have
Yeah.
time for all of that. But clearly, what this judgment is talking about is the fact that Julius Abure's tenure as chairman has since lapsed. And then when Justice Ian Gokoro went ahead to say that party leaders should be gracious enough to leave the scene when their tenures have lapsed. He wasn't talking to me. He was talking to Abure.
I think I'm being told that we're joined now by Comrade C.K. Igara, National Vice Chairman of the Labour Party. Am I correct? Good to have you on News Night tonight. So your side, okay, let me not use the word faction, since, I've been chided for that. The Supreme Court, the highest court in the land, has ruled that the internal affairs of the party belong within the party itself. Yet, we have this situation, both sides still laying claims to the leadership of the party. Who exactly, let me ask you the same question. Which party is the authentic leadership of the Labour Party?
Thank you very much for having me this night. The truth is, unfortunately, some of us don't understand simple grammar or what they mean. I am not a lawyer as to interpret what the justices said, but the truth remains, Abure is the national chairman of the party, and the leadership and the right leadership is the one that gave them nomination, gave Oghene, gave Mr. P.O., gave Dr. Alex nomination and signed their nomination papers. After all, if Abure wasn't the right leader, then all of them should resign and then leave the National Assembly, because it is still a continuation of that same leadership that brought them there that is still here. So from what the Supreme Court said, the Supreme Court admonished them to follow the procedures of the party. In this instance, the Constitution. If they follow the Constitution, can they tell me exactly where they derive the power to organize that meeting they organized? Which arm? Because the Labour Party is organized after the National Convention. You get to the National Executive Committee. After the National Executive Council, you get to the National Working Committee before you start going to the states. Now, let me ask Mr. Oghene, which arm of the party are you operating from? Are you operating from the same constitution that gave you nomination, or which other one? So it's very unfortunate that they are deceiving Nigerians. And My joy is that it's an open paper, everybody can read and understand. For us in Labour Party, which we gave him nomination, we appointed him the caucus leader in the House. So it's obvious, whatever he's doing is illegitimate, if we are not legitimate. So I encourage them to tell people the truth, and then allow the courts to do what is right, and allow INEC to work, not to go and start, bullying a whole institution of INEC. It's very laughable and unfortunate.
Well, he threw a question at you. Do you want to respond to him very quickly before I ask my next question?
Let me begin with the last.
Yes.
He said they made me caucus leader. He wasn't there. I was elected by my colleagues, and it was widely reported. Parties do not make caucus leaders.
Right.
It's an election between pairs. You could be selected or elected. In my case, I was elected. And it is he who has the power of hire that can fire.
Right.
So there was, for Abure and his cohorts, to be talking about
So the threat
fire.
to suspend you or to fire you
Suspend me
is
from what?
inconsequential?
You didn't appoint
Is that what
me.
you're saying?
He is not there. Why haven't they appointed a caucus leader for the Senate? But that's by the
Well,
way.
he asked an important question. He says, on what authority did OB,
Fine.
OT, NLC...
Let me tell you
and
the authority.
Yes.
And what gave rise to all of this. Now, by June last year, INEC ceased dealing with Abure and his NWC, that his tenure had lapsed. Don't forget that he was given a 1-year extension by the NEC in Asaba in 2022 because of the coming elections. Now, when that tenure was coming to an end, he tried to force his way through, thinking that because people were coming into the party, so he decided to hurriedly do a convention from top bottom, whereas the practice is bottom up. You generate delegates that gets up to the national level to elect the NWC.
Right.
But they didn't do that because they were afraid of going the right way. If you are building a 3-story building, do you start from the roof? You start from the first foundation. And so we advised, but he didn't do that. Talking about tickets and all of that, we have passed that stage. Let
me ask both of you gentlemen this question. Since you don't seem to be able to resolve this issue at the court level, judicial level, within the party you're not able to resolve it, will you go back to court? Who will exactly be the final arbiter in this case? Let me start with, Mr. Comrade C.K. Igara.
Thank you very much. I first of all want to respond to what he just said now. I will respond by reminding him that when we elected Abure in Asaba, he was not there. He was not there. And, they are still coming into Labour Party with the ideologies of their previous parties, or constitution of their previous parties, because most of them joined us just that 2022 or so because they were looking for tickets.
With that ideology, you gave them a platform to run, to contest.
Yes,
you gave OT and
I
the
want
rest
to
of
remind him, honestly, I want to remind him that he is getting confused because he is trying to forced on us the ideology he came into Labour Party with. And we are saying, no, let's follow the constitution of the party. Let's follow the constitution of the party. In doing everything we do, for once, let's do the right thing. Because he doesn't know that initially, the constitution of the party gave the National Working Committee 4 years, and every other strata 3 years. It was at the Nehru Convention that we made them 4 years so that we can do exactly what he's saying, bottom up. There's no way you can do 4 years and 3 years. So, but the truth is, he doesn't understand this because he didn't study the party, because they just wanted to win elections. They wanted a platform to contest election, which we gave to them. If they had studied the constitution very properly, he would have known that the party, what he's saying, wasn't practicable.
If you had won the elections, would you have, still had this internal wrangling within the Labour Party?
He said, if I had done what?
If the Labour Party had won the election, the presidential election, would this internal wrangling, have happened?
Well, it depends on the individuals involved. Because they want to hijack the structure of the party. That is why no matter what you do to them, they will still bring up these issues because they want to hijack it. And we are saying no.
His fear is,
yes, you
and that has been expressed
No,
also by Julius Abure, that there's an attempt to hijack the
by
Labour
who?
Party.
Is P2B running for national chairman? Is Honorable Oghene running for national chairman? You asked a pertinent question.
Yes,
how will it be resolved? If you go to INEC website, you have Barrister Julius Abure's name as national chairman. But there is a caveat by court order. So what we did today was not to bully INEC. And who can bully an organization like INEC? We went there to formally submit the CTC. Since even in the judgment, it was stated that he was wrongly pronounced national chairman, that they went outside of their jurisdiction. So to tell INEC to study this and simply remove his name as national chairman, as they did June last year when they stopped dealing with him. And as soon as they do that, everything will fall in place. I can understand the sour grapes he's throwing. For some of them, it's a meal ticket. But I want to tell them that in service... A
meal ticket in what sense?
Of course, you sell forms and you keep going. And
who's benefiting from
have you asked yourself, why is it that in all the off-season elections, 5 of them, there has been sordid tales about money, from Imo to Bayelsa, to Edo, where the national chairman comes from, to Ondo, and now Anambra. It's all about dirty stories of money.
So it's not the interest of the party, or even the larger interest of the
Who has come into the party? Which person of consequence have they brought into the party? Rather, people are leaving because of their intransigence. And by the way, if we even leave all the legal gymnastics, if you want to lead the people and they say, you can't lead us, is it a problem?
CK, very quickly,
all the critical segments of the party,
yes.
all the critical segments of the party, from P2B as national leader, the only governor and his deputy and his state legislators, NLC, House of Reps, Senate.
Let me quickly bring in CK.
NLC and TUC.
CK Igara, can you really, within the courts, decide who should lead a body, whether it's a political party or what have you? He's just said, if we say we don't want you, I mean, can't you just say, thank you for the opportunity to serve, looking forward to another opportunity?
I was elected during the Tenure convention. Then, because I was the former chairman, Labour Party Abia State, that produced the governor, the deputy he's talking about. I was the chairman. Number 2, he said, according to the document he had there, he said they went to INEC to give INEC the document, CTC. I don't know when they became bailiffs. That's number 1. Number 2, I also understand clearly what is happening in the party, more than him. Yes, he may be a member of the House of Reps, but he said we are looking for a meal ticket. Maybe he doesn't know people like us. If you know somebody like me, he know I've been investing my money in the party. Ask every other person whether I've received a kobo from anybody in Labour Party. Not him. Has he ever? How many times when I called him, how many times did he take the call? Because they feel they are gods. People like us don't even see them as gods because we built this structure that they are enjoying. We built it. And because we built it, the only way to get this thing done is to stick to exactly what the Supreme Court said. Supremacy of the party.
Okay. All right, and that's a good place. It's a good place to leave it. I'm sure Nigerians are wondering whether all of this is about the party interest or even the national interest. But gentlemen, I'll have to say thank you very much for joining us. On Newsnight, Apapa Oghene is the Labour Party caucus leader, House of Reps, and Comrade CK Igara is the national vice chairman of the Labour Party. Thank you, gentlemen.